So I found myself on another airplane. This time I'm heading to Ontario, California. This is going to give me a great chance to check out my GoPro Hero Session. I picked that thing up on Amazon Prime Day. It was like $50 off. So come with me on this adventure. We're going to check out some gadgets and gear with Old Pong Geezer. So I'm heading down from Sacramento, California to Ontario, and it's one of those there and back again type trips. Got the box in the mail about a week ago. If you've watched any of my other unboxings, you know I have a little bit of a challenge kind of opening things up and opening the box up without tearing it, and this was no exception. I'm going to speed up through this process and you can kind of see how the product comes. Basically, the hardest part I had was trying to get the camera itself off the little mounting plastic thing that's in the shipping container. Once I figured that out, it was good to go. I also took that little plastic part off of the shipping box and used that as a little stand. I put some little rubber protectors on the bottom of it, and it can hold my camera on the desk, so it's kind of cool. Don't throw that out. But anyways, it all comes apart and you open up the box, and inside the box you've got your USB charging cable. You've got obviously the GoPro, and it comes with the cradle with the little mounting bracket on it. And there's also two additional brackets, little sticky things on the bottom, so you can stick one to a helmet and one to your bike or something. There's the quick start guide, little safety instructions, warranty card, and then there's 3 GoPro stickers. And this is what I'm going to take with me on this trip. So I got to the airport in Sacramento way earlier than is reasonable for an old geezer like me. I'm going to leave these clips sped up so you can get an idea of how the camera performs in different lighting situations. And I shot all this footage in 1080p. The GoPro does not shoot in 4K. I totally wanted to know what it looked like on the inside of an X-ray machine. That's what this is. It's not as exciting as I was hoping for, but you can see a little bit of where the digital gets a little staticky when they nuke it with their X-ray. I'm glad I didn't get busted for that, but it was kind of cool. For the first part of this trip, the camera settings were just right out of the box. I didn't have the GoPro app on my phone installed yet, so it was set for, I think, wide angle and 30 frames per second. Towards the end of my trip, when I was waiting on the return flight, I actually downloaded the app and kind of played with the settings a little bit. So you might see a difference, and I'm hoping that I got a wide angle view on the trip down to Ontario, and then a normal view, whatever they call it, normal frame, on the way back. So you might be able to see a difference. But I am very impressed with the way the camera operates. The lighting, it handles kind of the light situations well. I love that it's waterproof as it is. Not that I got into any water in this particular trip, but it handles the different light situations pretty well. I'd get a chance to like test it in extreme darkness, but you can kind of see when I put it into the trunk of the car, when I put it in the baggage compartment, it does get dark. And I did notice a lot of noise when I was looking at the images, the clips that I played on the computer. I don't know how it's going to render, but overall for a $150 camera, it's very versatile and it takes really good images, so I'm really happy with this thing so far. The GoPro itself, it really seems to handle the change in lighting really well, and it maintains the colors pretty good. I'm not going to do any color correction on any of this, so you can kind of just see how it looks right out of the camera. I know there's a lot that gets lost in the translation, rendering it, and what screen you're using and all that kind of thing. But I was pretty impressed with once I was up in the clouds and how it captured the shadows. Capturing distance isn't as great in this wide angle as I was hoping for, because these clouds and in the horizon there were these layers of mountains. It looked really nice, and had I had a DSLR camera, I think I would have gotten some really good pictures. And in here it just sort of gets washed out in the background. But still, for just having something that you can carry around, clipped to your backpack, it's a pretty amazing device. But as you can see, on landing, I don't see a lot of motion blur. As the buildings were coming by, it seemed like everything was crisp, everything seemed clear. Pretty good. So I shot everything in 1080p, and it was at 30 frames per second. It does shoot in 60 frames per second, but I didn't have it set up that way at the beginning. The camera is also capable of 8 megapixel single shots, and it can do up to a 10 frame per second burst, and it can also do a time lapse. And those are settings you have to download the app and you can get in there. Although I guess you can set it on, there's a menu button, but it's really hard for me to set, to try to go through any settings on this little window. It's almost like an old, for those of you who are geezers like me, they used to have this thing called a pager, and then the pager had like little fine print in there in the little tiny window. It's kind of like that. But if you download the app on your iPhone or your Android phone, the Hero Session does have a Bluetooth and wireless connection, and you just link it to your phone, and then you can do all kinds of settings and all kinds of changes. And it's really neat. You can also control the camera through the phone, and you can see what it sees on your screen. So it has like a live feed. So that makes it really nice. The GoPro app also has some other features where you can make these 60-second videos and you do a lot of editing, and I haven't got into any of that yet. But this product is really pretty versatile for what you have to pay for it. So I bought the GoPro Hero Session. It was a package deal, and it came with some other little components, a little head harness and a little water floaty handle that you can use when you swim or surf or whatever. So my package came with a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and I had this camera fully charged before I left, and I filmed everything you see here, and that's probably 50% of what I actually filmed. And keep in mind that these clips are compressed 400 to almost 800 times. So you can imagine the amount of time I had. So I probably still had 30% battery when I got back from the trip. So the camera lasted a good 2-3 solid hours, and I was able to film with the micro SD card I had the entire day. The Hero Session is waterproof, and you can, apparently, according to the website, it's waterproof down to 33 feet. So you can totally take it swimming, scuba diving if you don't go down too far, snorkeling for sure. So it should be a fun thing. We're definitely going to strap this thing onto the dog and do some fetch in the water and see how that looks. And that'll be another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you an idea of what this Hero Session's all about. If you have any questions, please leave some in the comments. I'll make a couple more videos and try to show off a little bit more of the features in the future. And I'm definitely going to start playing around with this thing and just see what kind of crazy stuff I can do with it, because it's pretty solid. I was kind of rough with it, and I was throwing it in the back of the car. It's in a solid case. It seems like it's very capable of some rough and tumble type work. So I'm pretty excited to see what all I can come up with for this thing. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this one. Like it, comment, please subscribe. OPG out.